YouTube, how the heck you doing? This is Corey here with Watcher of Realms. This is going to be the Nightmare teams, both the towers and the keeps for Season 8 as it stands. So we have this team built here, and there's a lot of flexibility when it comes to building Nightmare teams, at least for this particular map, especially when you have Ajax or Ymrit. You definitely want to go ahead and slot either one of those into this team, or you can even slot in an Ardea if you so choose. You just have a lot of flexibility, so let's go ahead and get through it. So first, we have Hatsit, Torador, Wukong, Lily, and Ajax. So the whole reason as to why we have it built like this in particular, and you have the ability to kind of change some positions, which I will show, right? So Hatsit is here, mainly because any unit that gets here, she's going to go ahead and hit, and her autos are going to bounce to ideally, which will be the healer or the fool that's going to be right around here. So her job is basically just get these units as low as possible, right? Secondly, we have Ajax here, who's basically going to do the exact same thing, because obviously whenever people go ahead and chow Nightmare comps, their first thing is, let me try to swarm it. And then their second thing is, if I can't swarm it, I'm just going to go ahead and take it down, take out Torador, and run it through, right? So the whole idea behind this is, if we are placed up here, further up on the map, right where the portal is, necromancers are only going to get maybe 1 or 2 spawns before they're starting to get hit. And then secondly, right, any fool that's being placed has no ability to really travel the map. We're going to start from like right here. They don't really get that much ability to run through this map and build anything. If they're trying to shield dance, once again, right, the second they get here, they're going ahead and getting hit by Ajax. And Hatsit is going to be right here ready as well to go ahead and deal damage. Now, if they go ahead and try to use Garnagars, which is actually a viable strategy, right? You go ahead and drop Garnagars, they will hit Hatsit. Doesn't work. Reason being is because she's going to be in her shadow form. When I say shadow form, it's like her ghastly stealth or whatever, right? But she's basically going to be invisible for about 50 seconds, so nothing is going to really hit her. So that's one of the kind of things in our toolbox that helps us out with this particular situation. Secondly, Wukong is also here. So whenever a unit gets here, Wukong is going to go ahead and ult and take them down, which is also very, very, very important. No unit in this particular setup here is really vulnerable to destroyers or through bookkeepers based off of the positioning, right? Also, Lily is here to go ahead and give us some additional support. I strongly recommend going ahead and putting Ajax in at least some HP subs. Reason being is because I've tested this a lot. Garnagars will occasionally swap targets and hit this tile. It really just depends. It's more common with Brokir, Freeze, which will go ahead and retarget them. But ideally, from testing, Torador's Sons also have the potential for them to swap targets, and that's going to be bad news bears for Ajax. If you have a Carnelian, that's also really good, because Carnelian is going to go ahead and give some protection to Ajax in this particular setup. So you have some flexibility with this. You even have the ability to go ahead and flex this, right? So you put Hatsit here and Ajax here. It's really all up to you. It doesn't matter. I do like Ajax further up here, and then having Hatsit here, just because you get more ranged tiles for Ajax to go ahead and deal damage. It just seems like a little bit more effective that way. So that's going to be the team, at least for this setup. Now you have the ability to also go ahead and flex this. And I mentioned Ardea, I mentioned Ymrit, I didn't mention Arrogance, but Arrogance is kind of similar boat for a very specific reason, right? So we're going to go ahead and build it like so. I'm trolling, hold on. Here we go. There we go. Now, the whole reason for this is obviously, right, Hatsit is going to be in the danger zone, right, because of this tile. However, she has the ability to ult. And her ult is pretty much going to clear out the entire spawn point in case a unit gets past. Lily is here. She gives the protection. Ajax is here. He's hitting this entire corridor. Like, it's absolutely fantastic based off his range. He's going to be able to do so much damage. Also, Wukong is here, but mind you, right? Ardea is going to be better off in this tile because Ardea is going to go ahead and wipe out any unit that gets over here. Super, super, super valuable. Cannot overstate it. Ardea is amazing in this tile. Ymrit is also incredibly good in this tile, it's literally made for units like that, right? Where they have multi-tile range, and any form of either massive damage or CC is going to do wonders for you. And especially when you think about how Season 7 kind of functioned, where we had Mari that was in place of a Ajax, and Mari's going ahead and giving those slows. It made the teams very, very obnoxious to deal with and annoying to deal with. You're kind of wanting something similar to that, right? Ajax is going to be great for this. This team comp is very, very, very similar to how Season 6 worked, and the only real meta way to go ahead and beat it was either double tank and then running the dogs, or by just going ahead and taking out Torador. But at this point, everyone has a higher level Wukong, Awakening Wukong, so it's a little bit more tricky. So this team should be really, really good performing. Overall, it's a very safe pick, and you're going to have at least a good shot of winning about 50% of your matches, depending on the BP and things like this. So that's going to be the overall towers for the Nightmare comp. When it comes to the keeps, we have something a little bit different. So let's go ahead and open up the keeps here. So this is what we're working with, right? So Hotsit is in this tile, which, mind you, is able to be hit by Garnet Guards and Archers. However, we have an Ezreal here or a Lily, both work just fine, right? They're going to go ahead and, or Carnelian, obviously, right? Is going to go ahead and give protection to Hotsit. So she's not really going to be in danger. Truth be told, just no concern, right? She's also going to go ahead and ult here, which not the best, because it does mean that her ult is baitable by the tank, but that's honestly not the end of the world. She's going to go ahead and ult. She's going to go ahead and do damage. It's not that big of a deal. Also, she has the ability to get her ult up very quickly as well. And so anytime a unit gets here, which the most likely units that you're going to see is going to be the Fool, is going to be the Healer, is going to be the Necromancers. Her having the ability to go ahead and just wipe out the Necros before they even really get the chance to spawn up is super valuable, especially when paired alongside Ajax in this particular tile, who is not going to be hit by any units. Ajax is going to go ahead and ult the second that the Fool gets here, the second that the Necromancers get here, the second that the Healer gets here. He's going to give you so much clearance on these two tiles. It's very, very, very helpful, especially with just all of these AoE damage sources that are in relatively safe positions, because Ezreal's here, Lily's here, Carnelian's here. It's amazing. Torador's obviously going to give stuns, and then Wukong is kind of like your last ditch insurance policy. If units kind of get past here, Wukong is going to go start hitting them, dealing some damage. And then also Wukong is going to go ahead and ult. And so he has the ability to spawn clones here, here, and here, which is going to be really, really valuable just for overall damage, right? So you're looking at a very, very solid, reliable composition when you're setting it up like this. And truth be told, the main ways to go ahead and beat this is going to be trying to swarm it, obviously. However, your timings are going to be a little bit difficult because Hotsit is in a fantastic spot to just free hit, take out the Fool, take out the healers, take out the Necros, and set everything up for the rest of the team to just work through it, right? So that is going to be the Nightmare teams. See ya.